We're doing this week's Q&A by the pool. I'm just going to jump right into the evolutions. They're not too exciting this week. I have 2 Mankeys, a Meowth, 2 Paras, Pidgey, Pikachu, Ponyta, 2 Slowpokes, and a Spearow. So we'll just start at the top with this Mankey. Primeape is the second best fighting type Pokemon in the game. Not with this moveset though. Karate Chop, Cross Chop is much better. The first question I want to answer is one that I've gotten asked a lot since the game released, and that's, can you hatch regional exclusive Pokemon from eggs that you get outside of their region? Meaning, could you hatch a Mr. Mime from an egg that you pick up in North America, or could you hatch a Tauros from an egg that you pick up in Australia? And I've avoided answering this question because I don't really know the answer. There are plenty of people claiming that they've done it, but I haven't seen any proof that it can happen. Now, a few days ago, John Hanke finally cleared it up. On Twitter, he said that eggs can only be found in their natural habitat, meaning Pokemon who are region exclusive can only be hatched from eggs that you pick up from that region. Now, online, there are tons of people claiming that they've done it, that they've hatched a region exclusive outside of their region, but with the latest update, we have locations on Pokemon summary pages again. So, if anyone out there can show me a region exclusive Pokemon with the location listed here from outside of their region, I'll believe it. But for now, John Hanke says no. It's always possible because there have been plenty of glitches in this game, but it's not supposed to happen. This is dangerous. I hope I don't drop this. I'm going to evolve another Mankey. Hopefully this one gets a better moveset. It has a lower starting CP, it's at a lower level, but we'll see what happens here. Low Kick, Night Slash. That's slightly better because Low Kick has better DPS than Karate Chop. And Night Slash on Primeape, again, is not really that useful, but it is good for countering Psychic types. Not that you'd ever be putting Primeape in against a Psychic type because Primeape himself is weak to Psychic, but if you use it as a defender, you could surprise some Psychic types that way. And the next question I want to answer is it worth it to power up Pokemon with the best defensive moveset, i.e. Vaporeon? And the answer is absolutely yes. My Vaporeon with perfect IVs has the best defensive moveset, Water Gun and Water Pulse. And the reason you want to power up Pokemon with good defensive movesets is because you're going to be leaving them in gyms, and the higher the CP of the Pokemon, the higher up in the gym it'll be. And really that's all you want. When you're leaving Pokemon to defend a gym, you want to leave the Pokemon with the highest CP, because the higher they are, the longer they'll stay in the gym. The next evolution is going to be Meowth. And again, I've evolved a ton of Meowths, so this isn't really that exciting, but, you know, I have it, I might as well do it for the experience. You guys already know what I'm going to say. I forgot the egg. Luckily there are no new evolutions this week, but I forgot the egg again. Here it is, another Persian with Feint Attack and Play Rough. I'm just going to add that to my arsenal, I guess. And I'm going to put the egg on a little bit late, but I'll still get double experience for the rest of the evolutions. The next question is, do you have any advice for finding nests on your own? I'm trying so hard not to dip my feet in the water. Yes, if you want to find nests on your own, if you look on the Sylph Roads map and you can't find any nests in your area, I suggest looking at local parks. The bigger the park, the better the chance of it being a nest. If it's a popular park where a lot of people go during the day or even at nighttime, if it's a park where local sports leagues play, like Little League or soccer leagues, football leagues, those parks tend to have a higher chance of being a nest. You can also check popular outdoor attractions in your area, so any dedicated area where people gather in large numbers has a decent chance of being a nest, so I suggest that's where you start your hunt. I'm just going to evolve both of these pairs at the same time right now, so again, I'm hoping for Bug Bite Solar Beam. We'll see if I get lucky. 2 tries. Parasect actually has a mouth. I never noticed that until I saw him from underneath. Bug Bite, Solar Beam. This is the one. This is my guy. Let's see if I can do it twice. Oh, just kidding. I actually don't have enough candies. I don't know why I thought I could do that. Never mind. That's the evolution. The next question is, I've noticed that almost every non-stab move is super effective against one of a Pokemon's weaknesses, so is it better to leave a non-stab Pokemon in a gym knowing it will most likely be fighting against its weaknesses? So this comes back to what I was saying earlier with Primeape, where he has a Dark type move, and Dark is super effective against Psychic, which is one of Primeape's weaknesses. I think this was done intentionally by Niantic because it separates offensive movesets from defensive movesets. If you get a Pokemon like the Primeape I just evolved with that Dark type charge move, you can use that as a defender because attackers will most likely try to use one of its weaknesses, like Psychic types, against it, and that Primeape will surprise them with a Dark type move. So I think Niantic purposely designed move pools this way so that there are defensive options. You see it with a lot of Pokemon. Dragonite's best defensive quick move is Steel Wing, and Steel is super effective against Dragonite's biggest weakness, Ice. So this is definitely a good design move by Niantic, but when it comes to leaving Pokemon in gyms, you want to look at more than just Stab and super effective. Because the bonus for Stab and super effective is the same, 25%, you can't always choose one over the other. You have to look at each situation individually. In the case of Primeape, Psychic types do resist fighting, so even with Stab, Primeape's fighting type moves deal reduced damage to Psychic types, and in that case, you do want to use that Dark type move as a defensive Pokemon. In the case of Dragonite, Ice types don't actually resist Dragon type moves, so you want to look at DPS, and Steel Wing does have better DPS defensively. Alright, next up I have another Pidgey, and I've stopped doing Pidgey evolutions for experience. I'm just evolving Pidgeys now to try to get good Pidgeots. I already have one, but I'm gonna keep going because it never hurts to have more. That way I can power one up and leave one where it is, so that I have multiple Pidgeots with different CP to use in different situations, especially for training. It's always good to have evolved Pokemon with good movesets at lower CP because you never know what you're gonna need to train against in a friendly gym. Steel Wing Aerial Ace. No good. Not what I wanted at all. Anyway, the next question is about how and where I learned to make videos. And I didn't actually go to school for film or for videography. I've never taken a video class. I've never taken a photo class. Everything that I've learned is basically self-taught or just from watching other people. My suggestion to anyone who wants to start making videos would be to just find creators that you like and follow them. Watch what they do, think about why you like the things that they do, and sort of apply that to your own content. Obviously, Casey Neistat, you guys have noticed, has been a big influence on me. So I try to, when I watch Casey Neistat, I try to think about what he's doing and why he's doing it, so that I'm not just blatantly ripping off his style, but I'm understanding it and transforming it so that it works for my videos. And beyond that, just be around people who inspire you. For the last year and a half, I've been going to We Own the 8th meetings, and every month I leave We Own the 8th feeling very inspired by the people that I meet there and the things that they're working on. So being around people who inspire you to create is never a bad thing. This will be my second Pikachu evolution, and hopefully I can get a better moveset than my last Raichu had. That's exactly the same moveset. When picking a Pokemon to battle, what's more important, the type of the Pokemon or the type of the moves? And the truth is they're both important, because you want to pick moves that are super effective against what you're fighting against, but you also don't want to pick a Pokemon who's weak to the type that you're fighting against. So for example, when you're going up against Exeggutor, you want to choose a Pokemon with Bug-type moves, because Bug is double effective against Exeggutor. But if you choose a Pokemon like Venomoth with 2 Bug-type moves, Venomoth is poison, and that's weak to Exeggutor's Psychic-type moves. So it's just going to make the battle a little bit harder for you than if you chose a Pokemon like Parasect, Scyther, Butterfree. None of those are going to take super effective damage from Exeggutor. The next evolution is Ponyta, and I already have a Rapidash with good moves, but like I said, it never hurts to have more than one. And I think this one has higher starting CP than my last Ponyta did, so this Rapidash might come out a little bit stronger. I don't even think my other Rapidash is above 1000 CP. 1220, it's definitely stronger, but low kick, heat wave, I would have rather had Ember, because like I've said before, I like having 2 moves of the same type, so that I could use this against grass types, steel, ice, bug, anything else that's weak to fire. With low kick and heat wave, it's still good against steel types, so that's something you have to consider. When you're looking at movesets, you want to think about which type effectiveness overlaps between the two moves. Fighting and fire both share a super effective advantage over steel. Still not as good as having two fire type moves, in my opinion. Now this next one is sort of a question, I think. Change movesets? Everyone would just pick the best moveset. I want to respond to this because it comes down to good game design, and earlier I was saying that Niantic did a good job in designing choices into your Pokemon's moves, meaning there are situations where you actually do want some of those less effective moves because they might be better on defense. So if we get the option to change movesets, Niantic has to make sure that there are situations in which every move is useful. Obviously they've already done this with some moves being better for offense and some moves being better for defense, but there are still some situations where things just don't make sense. Fury Cutter and Bug Bite have almost the same animation time, but Bug Bite charges energy faster and has higher damage per second. So there's almost no reason why you would ever choose Fury Cutter, except that some Pokemon can learn Fury Cutter that can't learn Bug Bite. So Nidoking, for example, he can learn Fury Cutter and Mega Horn as a full Bug type moveset, and that comes in handy as a defender against potential Psychic type attackers. But with Pokemon like Parasect, whose quick move options are Fury Cutter or Bug Bite, you pretty much always want Bug Bite. So that's somewhere where Niantic could improve their design choices when it comes to movesets. I'm going to talk about this next question before I start the evolution because it kind of has something to do with the evolution. The question is, if a pre-evolved Pokemon has good IVs, will the evolved Pokemon have good IVs also? And the answer is yes, IVs are not supposed to change when you evolve Pokemon. So this Slowpoke that I hatched last night has perfect IVs, and you can tell because the IV appraisal system says, 1, Slowpoke looks like it can really battle with the best of them. That means it's 82 to 100%. Its best quality is HP, its attack is great too, its defense is great too, meaning all 3 of its IVs are equal. And the last message, its stats are the best I've ever seen, no doubt about it, means that its highest IV is 15. If all 3 are equal, all 3 are 15, this Slowpoke has perfect IVs. So now we're going to evolve it, and we'll check the Slowbro's IVs afterwards, and you'll see that they're the same. Finally got a good Slowbro. Confusion, Ice Beam. Dang. It's defensive, I guess. It surprises grass types. That's cool, but here we go. Looks like it can battle with the best of them. Best quality is HP, attack is great too, defense is great too, its stats are the best I've ever seen. So there it is. This Slowbro, after evolving, still has the same 100% perfect IVs. I've heard reports, and a lot of people have asked me questions about this, that their IVs supposedly changed after evolving. They say it went from 100% to 90% or some other change like that. So my question to those people would be, what appraisal are you using? Are you using a combination of the in-game appraisal system with an IV calculator like Poke Assistant? Are you looking at the average value? Are you looking at the maximum value? Poke Assistant gives you a range sometimes, so you can't just rely on one number. You can't pick max, you can't pick minimum, you can't pick average, because it could be any of those. So as far as I know, IVs are not supposed to change when you evolve a Pokemon. It's possible that it happens sometimes because we do know there are glitches and errors with the programming of this game. But to answer the question, IVs should not change when you evolve a Pokemon. I'm just going to evolve this other Slowpoke too to see if I can get a better moveset. Water Gun, Psychic. Okay, so this one has the best moveset. Now, excuse me, I'm going to try to catch this Pokemon. Now I'm going to compare the two. Okay, here are the two Slowbros I just evolved. 1484, this one has perfect IVs, but not an ideal moveset. This one's 1439 with the best moveset. So in this case, I would probably actually prioritize powering up this one with the better moveset, because the difference in CP, you can see it's about 45. It's not a huge difference. It is going to make a difference once they're max level, but I'm very far from max level. I'm still 25. So this Slowbro with Water Gun and Psychic is going to be more useful to me in the near future. Once it comes down to it, if I ever hit max level in probably a few years, by then I'm sure I'll have enough Stardust and Candy to power up all of them. But for now I'm focusing on this one, even though it doesn't have perfect IVs. This isn't going to work like I thought it was. Ugh. Okay, last evolution, it's a Spearow. It's not that exciting. Fearow doesn't have good move options. It's another Pokemon that kind of misses out on relevance, not only because its stats are pretty low, but because its moves are bad. Peck and Twister. What am I going to do with Twister on a Spearow? Dragon is only super effective against Dragon, and as you guys know, Twister has pretty bad DPS. That's it for the evolutions. Now, the last question I want to answer is, do you think Pokemon GO has made an impact in your life? And the answer is absolutely yes. First of all, Pokemon GO has made an impact in my life in the way that it was intended, in that it's gotten me outside more. I've been to a lot of places that I wouldn't have gone otherwise. You know, you've seen me on this channel go to places like Channel Islands National Park, to Anacapa Island. I've been making weekend trips to San Francisco, to San Diego. I'm going up to the mountains this weekend, so I'm doing a lot more traveling and exploring than I would have done without Pokemon GO. And that's obviously the way that it was intended to work, but because of this channel, Pokemon GO has made an even bigger impact in my life. Like I've said, this channel in the last 2.5 months has become my full-time work. This channel has grown to the point where I'm actually able to make a living off of it. Now, this is gonna get a little bit personal, so let me get more comfortable. For the last 1.5 years, I've kind of been struggling in life. I've been living back at home with my dad. I moved back from New Orleans where I quit a job that I had out there. I came home kind of depressed, and I started working with my cousin Dante, trying to explore some creative options that I had in creating videos for him. And during that time, I was also doing other small jobs, just freelance work and things on the side, so I was really just making enough money to get by while not having to pay rent, living at home. And I'm so thankful that I have a good support system, that I can rely on my family to support me even when I'm going through a hard time. You know, my mom watches all these videos, so I just want to say thank you, Mom, for being so supportive for the last 1.5 years. She'll probably show this to my dad now, so thank you, Dad, for supporting me and giving me a place to stay. And through that time, I've had the freedom to explore creatively. So working with Dante, I've been making videos and just kind of figuring out if that's something that I really enjoy doing. And it turns out it is. Obviously, I've been doing it every day for the last 2.5 months now. So even though I wasn't making a ton of money and I wasn't independent, I was practicing. When it started, I didn't know what I was practicing for, but when it came time to start this channel, I developed the skill set to really make it successful. So yeah, Pokemon GO has had a huge impact in my life. It's given me a full-time job, and this channel isn't the end goal. You know, I see this as a stepping stone to bigger and better things. So I hope you guys are excited for the future. I know I am. I hope you'll come along with me for the journey. But for now, that's it for this Q&A. I had a lot of fun with this one. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Weren't nests supposed to change today? Mine are still the same. Well, nests weren't supposed to change. It was projected or predicted that they would based on the past 2 changes. Those changes both happened either 23 or 24 days apart, so a lot of people assumed that the next change would come after 23 or 24 days. Obviously that didn't happen, and that just goes to show that we don't know enough about the game to really make these accurate predictions.